Good evening to all of you, and thank you to my keynote speakers who have done a fantastic job of introducing this topic so nicely to the students. And I wish you all a very good day. First of all, let me thank all the participants that in these tough times, you have taken a wise decision of attending a webinar, selecting your career, and you are weighing all the pros and cons before you join these courses or your field of excellence. One thing I can assure you as a trained professional, I've been in the industry for last 27 years in UAE, Middle East, Africa, Asia, and during my experience of last 30 odd years in the field of logistics and supply chain, there is no dull moments. Opportunity always knocks at you. It's how you approach the opportunity, how much you are calm and composed, how you can take risk, and most importantly, I say the whole industry depends on one parameter, that is I can do attitude. You always need to have an attitude of I can do. Logistics is nothing but anybody can do it, but you should have the guts, you should have the feel that I can do. Secondly, the most important factor is the most used words in the future going to be the last mile deliveries, skill development, artificial intelligence, IoT. All this means that the world is moving towards a new era of technologically advanced logistics, technologically advanced supply chain, technologically advanced education. Gone are the days where we are looking for knowledge. The pace of knowledge securing is over. Now the knowledge has to be converted into skills. I'll give you a very simple example. In the participants, I'm sure in most of us in our childhood, we must have been using cycle, the bicycle. Yeah. So once you learn a bicycle and you are able to start, and after a few minutes, you will get balanced and you move on. So if you have any knowledge, it's very important that that knowledge has to be converted into a skill. And how do you do that? The best example is the cycle. Once you are a cyclist, you will always be a cyclist. However, even if it is you are using the cycling after 10 years, 15 years, you're not in touch. But the moment you get back into that few minutes, you will get okay. So that is because when we learned the skill, we learned the art of cycling, we learned it as a skill and it stays with us. Same goes with the driving the car or driving license. So all you need to do in life is to convert whatever you are learning, the knowledge, into a skill. And skill is what stays with you, and you can always upgrade your skills. Yeah, today if somebody says that I'm very enriched with knowledge, these knowledge can be easily found in Google. You go ahead and search for it, you get information for anything and everything. Now what is telemedicine? Today you are not taught, before you go approach a doctor, you do the basic research, you know what are the consequences of the disease, you try to identify the symptoms, and then you go to a specialist just to make sure that what you are understanding is correct or not. So the transformation which has happened in the world is basic information is now no more important. It is the information which is converted into action in the form of skill is what it stays. Since most of you are going to start your career in the field of freight and logistics, supply chain, I would always request you to understand this business of freight and logistics. There is a very simple concept. Whenever someone has a desire to have a product or a services sitting in his living room comforts, he wants to order something. So someone should have a desire, and the moment the desire is there, the first thing he looks at is the cost, how much it costs, how can I bring it, and when can I have it. These are the three informations. Now these three small information in logistics words, we call it as pre-shipment, shipment, and post-shipment. So these are the three buzzwords which you should know if you need to know a right logistics. That is pre-shipment, anything related to a shipment from the stage of desire, LPO, converting an LPO into an order, finding the right mode of transport, identifying the right Incoterms, Finding the right mode of payment, you will understand what are the challenges of documentation, which mode of transport you have to do it. So those factors will come under pre-shipment. Once you have the pre-shipment information, you will decide the mode of transport, the type of services required, and the destination transit time, how long it is going to take it to reach to the destination. So this is the next important thing which you need to know. Then the shipment is, once you are selected air, sea, land, that's a mode of transport. So the challenges of documentation, the challenges of transit time, you reach the destination. Once it is reached the destination, you have customs clearance, you have taxes to pay, you have delivery commitments. Once you come all do that, it's a post shipment thing. So to understand logistics, these three things are very important. So in order for you to gather information, try to gather your information in the process of these three buzzwords. Second most important thing is time. In logistics, the time management is much different from the regular time management. If someone says I reach the office at 9:30 all the day, every time, that is punctuality. Whereas in logistics, the time management to be understood in a different way. Reaching at the right time, at the right place, at the right cost. Yeah. So in order for you to reach the right place, you should select the right mode of transport. It should be economically viable and with the right documentation. So once the shipment reaches the destination, it should be ready for collection. And the person who has ordered, he should be able to collect it and feel the product. So that's the requirement. So the word right product, right is very important in terms of logistics. So the time management in logistics works on this. Now the third factor is, in order to do logistics, what are the qualifications required? Like as Joshua introduced about me, I have started my career uh, 30 years back in Mumbai with a freight company called DHL. And I moved on with 8 to 10 companies in different verticals, which includes aluminum logistics, which include heavy metals. Then I moved into ship channeling, then into conventional third-party logistics, freight forwarding and logistics, project cargo, uh, you name it. So I have worked in different verticals: cold chain, supermarket, retail chain, pharma logistics. So all these are the mechanism of doing is the similar way. The challenges are the documentation which you will do may differ. The type of mode of transport which you select may be different, and the application to reach the goal is different. Yeah. So so this is what you need to understand when you want to do select about the right verticals. Now, in my journey of 30 years, what I understood as far as this industry is concerned, once you have the right skill means when you get a document, you should know what are the important things I should check in a document. If I have the eye for the right things, if I have the understanding of what it means, I've done the job. You don't need a great English to communicate. Because if you want to ask a shipping company, when will my cargo arrive? If you can give the correct bill of lading number, correct voyage number, and the container number, within seconds you get the information. To know these three things, you don't need a great English, but you should know what is the right thing from the bill of lading. You should ask the shipping company so that you get the answer. Now with the technology, all these things have become more easy by you have something called track and trace. You have something called clear visibility, blockchains, artificial intelligence, IoT. Now, the, at time of COVID, the most challenging factor every industry is facing is what is the new norm? What is the expectation of the customer going to be post COVID? Yeah, I have the honor and the privilege to work in one of the most dynamic organization in Dubai called the National Association of Freight and Logistics, which is some sort of a controlling body in the freight and logistic industry. In this last 6 months of time, we have seen in UAE, the government has taken an initiative to ensure that there is undisputed supply of foodstuff, uninterrupted supply of foodstuff. In order to ensure that, they have made sure all the regulations are followed, but at the same time, no interruption comes in terms of supply of food. So all the supermarkets, all the pharmacies, everything was well equipped to handle heavy loads of inbound shipments and to deliver to the last mile without any hesitation. That was the main goal the government has set for them. For the food sufficiency, medicines, basic requirements are fulfilled. So the last 6 months, in the first 3 months, we were going through the lockdown mode. We were going through all the challenges which any other country faced during the COVID times. But the last 3 months, we have opened up completely. The life here is as good as regular. But the business has not taken up to the regular standard. Why? It's not that the business is not happening or the business is not going to happen. No, the expectations of the customer has changed. Now customer would like to order everything and anything at his comfort on through an e-platform. So are you ready to understand the customer requirement based on the e-logistics or e-supply chain? So today everything is online or it's through the e-commerce. To understand these challenges, these courses will help you out. So I want you to understand the background first, that the industry is evolving to a better level where the job opportunities are going to be more. You will no more working hard, you will be working smart. The productivity levels will be much higher compared to the previous generations. You will be working with intelligence and you will be supported ably by the technology. So that's the change which you will see in the future. So it's only a transition phase that you will find things are going in a different direction. So that's some confidence which I'd like to give you, because Dubai is nothing but a logistic hub. Now, if you take the history of the world's top cities, New York, Mumbai, Brazil, Chennai, Bombay, if you Japan, Tokyo, Rotterdam, any part of the world, these are the, if you take any top 10 cities in the world, all these cities are known because of, or known or become popular because of their logistic proximity. All these countries, all these cities are the logistic hub. Today, if the port of Chennai or the port of Mumbai does not work, the entire supply chain, entire business of any of the country will be on standstill. So that's the importance of logistics. And I can assure you to all of you that this industry is here to stay. As long as human existence is there, the freight and logistics will stay back. So you can be sure that growth and prospects for this industry is unlimited and it's ever. Okay, now I will come back to the scope of the industry. Previously, logistics and supply chain was named as one of the supporting industry, or it was always considered as a operational activity. But in the last 5 years, with the technology advancements and increase of e-commerce, logistics has become a mainstream industry. Today, there is no boardroom without a supply chain director sitting in it. A supply chain manager, a supply chain executive decides what product, where to sell and when to sell, how to sell. All that decisions and involvement of logistics and supply chain professional is important. Today you can have the best of product in the world, best of services in the world, but if you do not have a proper logistic and supply chain support, you cannot exist. Yeah, so that is the importance of this industry. When it comes to education in this industry, it is my passion that I wanted to learn more. I wanted to get trained well. So all my courses which I pursued post my graduation were all related to work and related to the interest I want to enter. So when I'm acquiring all these qualifications, I was never looking at academic success. Rather, I was looking at the skill element of it. So if your course which you are selecting with the university, if it has a blend of practical and case studies, you are good enough. Because the other things, certificate from which university, recognitions, all are secondary situations. What you need to know, in a 5 minutes of interview, are you able to win the confidence of the customer or the interviewer that you are the right person? So if you can win that, your first step is passed. Doing a job, you will have all the tools and techniques available. Like as the professor said, if you have a basic and a skill of Excel, you can maneuver any logistic report. In terms of documentation, to do a documentation, if you have a basic English with an applicable mind and a good attitude, you can get through with your documentations. In terms of communicating with people, you need a limited English, but what happens is you need to use the right words and you have to ask the right question so that people understand your question and answer you in the right way. Yeah? So these are the basic things. So the qualification is for you to understand and for you to get recognized. So do not be on the rat race of acquiring many qualification just to nice to have it in the visiting cards. Even I'll tell you, these days people do not even have a visiting cards. It's a code. So if you have so many degrees, you cannot put it there. But people will not be judging you by the number of degrees, but the skill you have in communicating, understanding, and translating the business is what is important. So your university, if it's having a good case studies, they have good material reference. If you get an industry exposure, that is what is important. If I would say today, if you are looking for a job and if someone is ready to offer you an internship, even if it is no pay, even if it's a no pay, and if you get an exposure to work in a company for a few days or a few months, that is a big skill. That will add your confidence. That will give you more knowledge and power for you to succeed in the job. So I encourage you all to look in for internship with companies when you are studying. Encourage from the universities, try to speak to the industries people so that you know what is happening in the reality in the industry. Try to gather information about this industry in advanced countries, because what is happening in Singapore, 6 months downtime, it will happen in Chennai. If there is something happening in Amazon fulfillment center, 6 months down the line, it will happen in fulfillment center in Chennai, or it will happen in Coimbatore. So the technology is going to come down to each and every part of the world. So my advice for all of you would be is to select the right course, give a lot of importance for the practical knowledge, understand the industry, try to understand different industry, how a pharma industry works, how a retail industry works, how the healthcare industry works, what are the challenges the shipping industry faces, what are the challenges airlines are facing it. So if you can understand these things and put your knowledge which you learn from the university, you are a good blend of excellent future managers. Yeah. So with, I also would like you to, if you have few minutes, Joshua, I have enough time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to share with you all a small presentation. It won't take much time. I'll give you a few slides. This was a presentation I've given it to the International Chamber of Commerce in Dubai. If you look at this, you can see.
Yes.
Yeah. See, these are the new norms in the future. Forbes, the Fortune 500 company, says 75% of the company the company which is existing in today's world will disappear from the current space by 2025. That means there are new sets of companies going to come into the world. 50% of the future company is still not started. That means the companies which require the high advancement of e-commerce and technology still have not decided what type of people, what type of qualifications are required. Okay, so there is a big scope. 2 billion jobs going to disappear by 2030 from coal, power, transport, repairing, majority industries, which means the redundant regular industries, which was working on semi-automatic mode or manual operations, will no more exist in future. 85% of the jobs in 2030 still not born. Education and skill set not yet decided. This is been spoken by the CEO of Dell. Then adopt technology, understand customers, find touch points. Networking is oxygen. Today, if a person is want to excel in his job, and if he doesn't have the networking skill, he has lost the battle. Networking is going to be like oxygen. Without networking, without communicating, without part of the social media, without doing part of the LinkedIn, you are no more going to be required in the industry. So networking is going to be like an oxygen for you. And if you see the types of people, there are 3 types of people. Somebody is called as ocean. Ocean is highly qualified people. The people with the high degrees have qualifications. Secondly, you will have a type of people which is called marshy lake, which is like little bit of everything. They are not master of anything, but they know something of everything. They do survive. Well, these are people who dig well on your own. That means they go for very, very accurate information. They go for deep knowledge, theoretical people, academicians, all those people comes under the well category. So these are basically, so you need to find where you fit with it. And there are three types of mentality. This is something which I wanted you all to understand. There are three types of mentality in people. One is called hunter mentality. Now, if you look at a hunter, when he goes for hunting, his only aim is to hit the bird or hit the target. So he goes with a full focus till he succeeds. He never stops it. So if you are a hunter, if you are aiming for a career in logistics, you work on your skills, work on your attitude, work on your mental stress levels, build up networks, you will reach your goal very easily. So you should, if you have a hunter mentality. Planter is one, someone who puts the seeds, wait for the rain to come, pray to God everything goes well, and wait for the tree to, from the root it come up to a plant and plant to a tree. So that's the planter member. A farmer is the one who goes by the books, putting the seed and waiting for it. Then the season crops it, make the crop, and they give it to the end user to further proceed. So the mentality of a hunter or a planter or a farmer, this is something which is very, very relevant for you to, when you are selecting the career, selecting the job, or selecting the industry. So you see where you fit into it. So if you can adopt some of these skills into your education programs, that will be great for you to understand this business.
So thank you very much, sir. Just a couple of quick questions to you, sir. Sir, we have a question from one of the participants, Vignesh Manivanan.
Yeah.
So the question to you is, other than doing a PG diploma course or a professional course, can we do short-term certification course in logistics management?
Yes.
Would that be accepted?
Yes, because as far as the industry is concerned, they look at your adaptability skills in terms of IT, computer literacy, and the theoretical knowledge about the documentation knowledge, all those things. So that can come even from a short-term courses. But when you are doing a short-term course, you should understand the industry where you are going to work. Accordingly, you have to gear up with the supporting informations. Like if you are working in a pharma industry, you should give a lot of eye for medical restrictions, government restrictions, and all that. Yeah, so it's fine what course you select.
Sir, in spite of your busy schedule, thank you for joining us and spending a valuable time and giving very useful inputs to all the participants here. On behalf of our institutions, both AMET University and Tatti, and all the participants, we would like to thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All the best to the participants and students. I'm sure you'll do well. Thank you.